Bach 921 said it's ya boy Communist Yoshi Simp 2K10 coming at you live from New York but not on Saturday Night Live Brew Dab Lol. Minivolve said Bach 921 rolled a d20 and got a 14. Minivolve said Simonoma rolled a d20 and got a 10. Minivolve said sorry, sounds should work now.
Banana!
Alrighty. How's it going, everybody?
Bach
Welcome to the
921
stream.
said what are you min? A maple
Excuse me.
syrup loving Canadian?
Yes. Yes, I am. Thank you for asking.
Simonoma
How's it going, though?
said hi there, I timed that well.
Indeed you did. How's it going? Let me know how everything sounds. Oh my goodness. Things should be fine. Music shouldn't be ridiculously loud or anything. Where is it? Yeah, that should be fine. I think. Wait. Oh, it's muted. Awkward. Hang on.
Bach 921 said I don't hear any music.
It's fine.
Bach 921
Don't worry
said
about
it's good
it.
now.
Yep, yeah. I didn't realize it was actually muted. I was like, oh shit. It wouldn't be a proper stream without technical difficulties, am I right? But you know, whatever. Hi. I'm gonna go ahead and hop in Discord for anybody that wants to like jump in on this because I'm not good at being social.
Bach 921 said now we just need to break TTS.
Oh god, please don't. Please don't. I'm gonna jump into the thing. Is anybody in there already? No. I'm so lonely. Um, it's fine. Excuse me. There we go. Oh, soundboard sounds do still work. Okay, interesting. I noticed that in the last video I edited, I kept hearing Discord sounds every now and then. I was able to edit those out, thankfully. So I'm like, okay, streamer mode, you're not doing what I need you to do, so I'm turning sounds off. And I'm glad soundboard sounds still work. So there's that. That's cool. Good to know. Genuinely, actually. Anyway, now I won't get distracted by Discord.
Said do the laugh, nay hee hee.
Wait, the I will do the laugh. Hang on. I mean, there's 2 laughs. There's 3 actually. But I'll do this one.
Bach 921.
There you go.
Said bag of memes, bag of memes.
There we go. Speaking of memes, I'm looking at my Meme It Up chat in Discord.
Said thank you.
You're welcome. I'm looking at the Meme It Up chat in my Discord, and I'm seeing canned gravy, like pop cans, but it's gravy. And I have emotions.
Bruh.
Yeah, right? Why?
Simon Oma.
Is that a
said
real?
I would join if I didn't have D&D today.
You're good, no worries. But bruh, why is
Gifted
gravy
me.
and soda cans a
Said
thing?
who would create such a monstrosity? Bach 921. Said hashtag ban DND and Maple SYURP.
Do not,
Tif-tif-bee.
do not,
Said
do not,
also hi.
no. No. What's up, Tifa? We are not banning D&D. Absolutely fucking not. There is a chance sometime in the near-ish future. I'm saying ish because I don't know what the exact plan is at this particular moment in time. We're still working on it. This is still
Simon
like
Oma.
in
Said
development.
never. And hi Tifa.
Exactly. So this is still in like development basically, but there may be a D&D one shot sometime in the future. I don't know exactly when, but we're working on it.
Bach 921. Said Bible thump, Bible thump. Swift Simeon.
You know.
Said hello everyone.
Swift, what's up? Welcome in. Welcome to this. Since I'm not actually playing a game, I can have like the Twitch panel open, so I can actually see shit now. Technically, I don't need TTS.
Said Simon
but
will appear in it. Evil laugh.
Indeed. As will my one of my adorable clerics. I have 2 adorable clerics. And
Bach
I like them both.
921. Said it Swift Simeon, are you a Taylor Swift Simeon?
Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, part of me is like, don't get me talking about D&D, because I will talk about all of my characters, and you will know all of their backstories by the end of today, and we will have been here for probably 6 hours. Which,
Simon Oma.
I mean,
Said Pope Talia.
damn okay. Y'all want me to talk fucking D&D? Cause I will.
Swift Simeon. Said no, I'm a bean counter. My parents didn't like the idea of me being a tailor.
Rip. No, but like, for real.
Tif-tif-bee. Said in other words, you're that meme of the woman explaining something while another just stares at her blankly, lol.
Yes, no, 100%. You know what messes with me about D&D, right? Is like, the topic will come up between me and somebody that knows
Simon
pretty much
Oma.
nothing about D&D.
Said make Minnie talk D&D and cue evil laugh. R4 nanograms 3RZ1.
Oh my goodness.
Started following you.
Hey! Thank you so much. Why did Stream Elements not let me know? Stream Elements is letting me down. It's fine. It's fine, but welcome in. I appreciate you. How you doing today? Sorry. Getting back to what I was trying to talk about, though. The thing about D&D that always gets me is, like, a conversation will come up where it gets mentioned between me and somebody that knows nothing about it, right? They're like, I don't really know about the game, I don't really know about its rules or anything like that, and...
Bach 921.
You know...
Said if you had to ban maple syrup or D&D, which one are you picking and why is it Bach 921?
I think you've just answered your own question.
Hello there.
How's it going today? Okay, so this conversation between me and somebody that doesn't really know anything about D&D, like, it always gets, it's always weird, because, like, they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to get into it, because it seems like there's so much.
Said we will ban Communist Yoshi.
We will ban Communist Yoshi. But they're like, oh, I don't really know about it, there seems like so much, and stuff like that, and to be fair, that's what kept me away from it for a while, until I was invited to do a one-shot with someone, and then I got addicted to it. But they're like, oh, I don't really know a ton about it, and stuff like that, so, like, you know, I'll start talking about my characters, and be like, yeah, so, like, you know, I've got this rogue, who's, like, you know, she's, you know, trying to solve her dad's murder, potentially. I've got this other character who's basically, like, a magical girl, but not, and stuff like that. And I'll talk about all of their backstories and stuff like that, and they'll be like, but, like, how is that the game? And I'm like, that is the game. That is the game. You come up with shit, and then you play. And it's so much fun. There was one time, actually, when I was visiting a friend of mine, and if she watches this VOD, she'll know exactly who she is.
Simon
so
Oma.
hi!
Said now talk about our Mara insanity.
Oh my god. We'll get to that. I want to talk about this random situation that happened. So, I was visiting a friend a couple months back, right? And, she mentioned that she wanted to try D&D, but she wasn't really sure, like, how to really get into it, or what the whole deal with, like, the role play was.
Simon
so I was
Oma.
like, okay.
Said UT.
Yes, T. So I was like, okay. How's about we paint a scene, and you're just gonna react. Don't worry about whether or not you made a character. Just do things, right? So I was like, okay, we're gonna paint a scene, and yes, it was the typical, you show up at a tavern and there's all kinds of people doing stuff. I was like, there's people fighting in the corner. The bartender's just sort of looks like he's done with his fucking day. The guy wants to go home, you know? And there's, you know, there's all kinds of other shit going on. What do you do? What is the first thing you do? I was expecting her, right? I was expecting her to, like, walk up to the bar, maybe ask for a drink, maybe go see what was going on with the fight and try to break it up or something. No. She immediately was like, okay, so, like, I have magic now? And I just
Bach
fucking freeze everyone in the room.
Said can I create a D&D character that is just a bottle of maple syrup?
You could homebrew that shit. But yeah, no, my friend just freezes everyone in this room, and now I'm like, fuck, how do I proceed? She was the one sitting there not knowing how to fucking go, and I'm like, fuck, how do I go? How do I do this? So I was like, okay, well, you know, the bartender's seen some shit, so he doesn't get frozen. He knows how to deal with magic and stuff, because, like, holy shit, he's had to break up so many fucking bar fights. He just couldn't be bothered with the one that was going on. And and he calls you out
50.
on your bullshit.
Said I believe she did what we call a pro gamer move, lol.
Yeah. So so I'm like, this dude calls you out and is like, what the hell are you doing? Why did you just freeze literally like all my customers? What the fuck? So she just straight up responds by trying to like fight this dude, right? But it doesn't go well. So she's like, well, fuck, I'm gonna run now. So she starts running and, you know, she ends up bumping into, like an orc dude, and he's just big, burly, and pissed off at her for bumping into it. It's like a hey, watch where you going type situation, and she's like, you talking to me? You talking to me? And and picks a fight with this dude. But she manages to like use more of her magic to like shrink this motherfucker. So now there's just a tiny orc just trying to beat up her ankle. And it just doesn't really work because he's tiny and shit.
Bach 921. Said lol.
So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, at this point, you know, you're fighting this orc in the streets, right? You know, the guards are coming, right? The city guards showing up. And she's like, oh, okay, well, in the meantime, I'm gonna play whack-a-mole with this tiny orc dude. Cause like the dude realizes, he's like, oh shit, I'm not gonna be able to hurt this chick. I'm fucking tiny. So he starts trying to hide in places, and every time she spots him, she tries to whack him. So it's literally whack-a-mole, but orc. And then when the guards show up, you know, she starts fighting them. And then like
Bach 921.
manages
Said whack an orc.
whack an orc, yeah. And then she manages to I forget exactly what she did, but she manages to get some of them trapped in their own cart.
Simonoma. Said whack a bump.
Yes. Yeah, she manages to get like half the guards trapped in their own fucking cart and then like knocks out the other ones, so like they're just stuck there. And then she starts wreaking havoc in the city, just going fucking nuts. And the entire time I'm like, what the fuck is my friend doing? I'm like, this is not at all what I expected out of her. And then she's like, oh yeah, no, I just want to cause chaos. Like like she was just so casual about it. I'm like, are you good? You've got some shit going on. She's like, yeah, no, see,
Bach 921.
I just want chaos.
Said lol 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 lol. Tip tip B. Said maybe she's following Roman Reigns' motto, wreck everyone and leave.
Yeah, pretty
Simonoma.
much.
Said chaos gremlin for the win.
No kidding though. Honestly. So she proceeds to get the attention of a wizard who sees all this shit go down, and he's like, how the fuck are these guards so incompetent? I'm gonna go ahead and start fighting this chick, right? So she's got the whole city like pissed off at her at this point, basically. And so this dude, you know, starts fighting her. It doesn't go well for him. Last ditch effort, he gets real pissed off and basically casts fireball, and sets the entire city block ablaze, hurting my friend in the process. But she's still good. She's still alive. You know, she's hurting. So she decides to run once again, and she manages to put up a few magical barriers in a little spot, and she's just like hiding out in this spot. Also, somewhere along the line, I forgot to mention, she casts a spell to encase the entire town she had this giant jar basically come down and like a dome over the whole town basically, but it's a jar. And so nothing could get in or out of the town. So all this chaos is going on, nobody can leave. So she finds a little spot to hide, and she sets
Bach
up
921.
magical shit to protect
Said
herself.
like the Simpsons movie?
Pretty much, yeah. Except it's a jar. It's like a mason jar. Just over the town. Excuse me. So she's got this whole barrier thing going on, protecting herself and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, but you're using like a ton of fucking magic. And then she's like, well, I've got this thing with me that like, you know, has some, you know, some power that I'm drawing
Bach
from. I'm like, okay, well,
921
if you're gonna do that,
said, and I'm assuming no EPA violations were had.
it's fine. Don't worry about it. So she's like, she decides to pull this random artifact out of her ass. And I was like, okay, so you're not just gonna get that power. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, you gotta make a deal with whatever the hell, like whoever the hell owned this thing before you did, so that you can access whatever's going on in there. But if you fail to convince it, then you don't get shit, and you probably actually get really fucked over. But you can potentially make a deal with essentially the devil to get all kinds of crazy power to fuck shit up. Like, the rewards are great. And she's like, okay, so I'm not really gonna do that, but what I am gonna do, and keep in mind, this happened like maybe half an hour before I went home. Like, I was waiting for my ride while we were doing this. She's like, yeah, so, and I think she did this because she realized what time it was and the fact that my ride was like 5 minutes away. She's like, yeah, so, what I am gonna do is I'm gonna, you know, cancel out everything I have active and, create a portal to another realm and jump through that and leave all this shit behind. The only thing she kept active aside from that portal was the jar. So she leaves through this portal, closes it behind her, and the whole town is still stuck in this jar that can't really be, like, it can't really be removed. And she basically just escapes to the Fey realm and just chills out in this, like, field of flowers for a while.
Bach 921 said Lil.
And, like, it was pure roleplay. There were no rolls, no nothing. It was just completely, it was just pure just insanity is what it was. There were no rules. I just tried to, like, give her obstacles so that she'd have something to do, kind of thing. But that was her first, like, D&D-esque experience. And she had a ton of fun. She's like, I want to try D&D now, like, proper. And I'm like, dude, I would love to run a game with you. I don't know if I have it in me to be that organized. Excuse me. But, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. It would be so much fun. So... That's the story about how my friend blew up an entire town, trapped it in a jar, and then dipped. Sorry, I need liquids. Give me a moment, actually. Okay, I'm good. Okay. And see, like, D&D and shit like that, all kinds of wacky stories, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I have another story about, how my
Bach
friends and I
921
accidentally dropped a boat on a
said
prison.
Liquid's Fiend P. Simon Oma said yep like Mara.
Oh my god, Mara. Okay. Alright, I'll talk about the prison boat thing later. So, I've got this character. Her name is Mara. She's a tiefling, and for anybody that doesn't know, they're basically like people with, like, demon or devil ancestry, so, like, a lot of times they'll have those types of features, like horns and shit. But she was trained as an assassin by her dad, who basically fled a group that he was a part of, because, like, he was supposed to, so her dad was supposed to basically use Mara's mom to get close to their family because her dad's boss was basically after them. But he kind of fell for Mara's mom, who was also named Mara. Her dad's not good at naming. So there was like a whole thing where he decided, fuck these guys, I'm gonna basically leave, I'm gonna take you with me to protect you. But when, Mara was born, her mom died, so her dad freaked out, and basically raised Mara in isolation, trained her as an assassin, because that's basically all he had to really go on to teach her, because he didn't really know any other life, really. So he's just like, I'm gonna teach you what you need to survive
Bach
in this world
921
and shit.
said it's like George Foreman naming his kids all a form of George.
Yeah. So later down the line, her dad finally decides, because they started traveling around for a while, like they never really stayed in the same place for too long, because her dad was freaking out that he would get found and then killed, and then he was afraid that whoever killed him would take or kill Mara, and he didn't want that, obviously. So they would constantly be traveling and just never staying in the same place. And then eventually he decided to settle down in a place for a while. Mainly because he saw how the way he was raising Mara was doing more harm than good. He essentially led her to believe that she should not exist and no one should know who she is. And he realized later down the line that was really fucking with her, because fucking duh. So he basically was hoping
Bach 921 said, was that place Atlanta, Georgia? Kappa HD.
No, it was not. For those that know the Forgotten Realms setting, they basically lived in Neverwinter for a while.
Simon Oma said Neverwinter.
Indeed. So basically, Mara's dad, his plan was banking on the fact that Mara would sneak out, because at this point she was probably like 16-ish. So he was kind of hoping that, she would give in to teenager shenanigans and sneak out, which is exactly what happened. And of course, since he knew it was happening, he did still keep an eye on her, but at a distance. And she eventually met my changeling Bard, who I specifically created to give Mara more stuff, but she became a force of her own, and I love her to death. Anyway, she meets this girl named Talia, while sneaking out, basically. It turns out Talia was sneaking out too, because Talia had her own things going on. We'll get to that later. But then, so they bond over the next couple of years, and constantly, like, always at night, always sneaking out, and like, through Talia.
Ursa Major VT said, hey Min, what I miss?
Not a whole heck of a lot. I'm talking about D&D characters. How you doing? So through Talia, Mara basically learns a little bit more about, like, herself and
Bach
things that
921
she's,
said at Ursa Mahorivit you missed Communist Yoshi getting banned.
No.
Ursa Major VT said, oh heck yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mara learns a little bit more about herself and stuff through Talia, and Talia learns a bit more about herself through Mara, and they both, like, realize that they, weirdly enough, despite different circumstances, have a lot in common. The one thing that Mara doesn't know about Talia at this point is that Talia is actually
Simon
a changeling.
Oma said, hi Ursa.
Which, she's someone that can basically change her form to look like pretty much anyone else. Although she always likes to do like try to make original variations on things, so she never turns into
Tip
other
me,
people specifically.
said Ursa. Welcome to the madness.
Indeed. You missed me talking about my other friends' first roleplay experience,
Ursa
and
Major
it was very
VT,
fun. She blew up a
said
town.
Heya.
So, excuse me, back to my little story. Mara and Talia eventually develop feelings for each other. Except they're at a point where they're too afraid to admit it, so they're really like shy and awkward about it. And Talia herself decides that one day she's gonna tell Mara the truth about, what she is and stuff like that. Unfortunately for Talia, the night she plans to do it, Mara stops showing up. Months go by and stuff, and oh hey, it's Ultra.
Ursa Major
Hi.
VT, said by the way I need for us
How
to
you
have a
doing?
session 0.
I'm
I'ma
doing.
get that put together.
Yes,
You're doing,
that would be
okay.
amazing. How's it going?
Here, I might have to open a secondary window for the chat. I don't want to overlap anybody.
You're good.
So give me a moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going with my little story because I'm invested.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
It's cool.
So, yeah, Mara stops showing up. Months go by when Talia is dealing with her own shit. Turns out Mara had left because her dad was attacked and maybe died, ? Spoiler alert, he didn't die. But he tried to make it look like he did so that, Mara would have no reason to chase him. That didn't work because she's like, well, now I want to know who fucking killed
Bach
my dad.
921, said Bible Thump.
Yeah. She's like, now I want to know who fucking killed my dad. I want to know what the fuck happened. Right? So she fucking runs off to Waterdeep and is like, starts looking for leads.
Simon
Starts looking
said
for
I
dudes.
added lots of shenanigans. Tip
Shenanigans.
said
Indeed.
an asshole dad of the century goes to.
Yeah, no
Minimal,
kidding, right?
said Ultra Dolphin 64 rolled a d20 and got a 18.
Yeah, no, Mara's dad, oh boy. We're gonna be here for hours. How much time y'all got? So,
I don't know.
she's
I got
off.
the chat up.
Awesome.
Baby mode.
So,
Oh boy. Oh
so
my
she's
God.
off looking
Simon
for her
Oma
dad. Talia's
said
at
I don't know,
home
I think Kaiza
dealing
might
with-
contest him for that.
Kaiza's also an asshole for different reasons. There's so many characters, dude.
Ursa
Me and
Major
Simon
VT,
went
said
nuts.
LMAO.
Me and Simon went nuts. We have this RP going on that's separate from one of our campaigns where we actually fleshed out this whole backstory with all of these characters,
Yeah.
including a lot of Simon's own characters. Turns out Mara is one of Simon's character's cousins. They didn't know that at first. Shit got weird. And I love it, by the way. I am entirely invested. So,
Yeah. So Talia's stuck at home dealing with her home bullshit. She eventually has enough of that, which I haven't dove into that because that'll take a long
Simon Oma
time.
said my tiefling Simon is Mara's cousin.
Indeed. So, yeah. So Talia decides, fuck this, I'm leaving. So she goes to Waterdeep to find Mara. And that's where our campaign started, because with Talia trying to find Mara and then meeting up with the rest of our party, and now she partly owns a tavern. So, shit got crazy. But she left her home because her parents were
said
trying
Simon
to
is Chaos Gremlin personified too, from what I hear, lol.
Oh my goodness, we gotta send you screenshots of that RP, Tifa, because holy shit.
I'm interested too. I want to see this.
Simon
So
Oma said he sure
I
is.
kind of came in part way, but which is why I don't really have much to say. But
No, that's valid.
I
I'm
am
sorry.
curious.
I was just like, they got me talking about this, so it's just
No, go
invested
ahead.
now. So Talia left her home because her parents, basically run this business where they basically craft and sell magical items and stuff, and they work for a dude that's kind of a hyper racist.
Oh God.
Like, he's not super cool with anyone that's like not human. Like, he'll tolerate them if he can benefit, but like her parents were like super worried because so they adopted her, right? Like, they found her abandoned and they adopted her. They took her in, they raised her as a human. You know, they had her take a form of a human that would convincingly look like their bio kid or whatever. And she hated that. She despised that. And it turns out she was no good at the thing that they were trying to train her to do. So after countless failures and countless frustrations, like, she just wants to be herself, be able to take any form she wants, and just fucking live. And, you know, her parents were like, no, that's dangerous. We can't have you do that. So eventually, after months of A, not seeing her would-be girlfriend, and B, just dealing with that bullshit, she's like, I have had enough. So she has an argument with her parents, and during that argument, she takes her preferred form that she would use whenever she met Mara, and she fucking storms out and doesn't look back. During our campaign, she found out that her parents found someone else to take over her position with their business, and also found out that her dad turned to drinking and shit. And now she feels really guilty because she's like, "Oh fuck, that's my fault, isn't it?"
Said yes, Queen. Bach 921.
Right?
Said Bible thump, Bible thump,
Yeah,
Bible thump.
that's
So now she feels super guilty about it, but she's also like, but like, I still can't go back to that. Like, she's now stuck because she's like, now I don't know what to do.
Like, again, it's like mixed feelings. Like,
yeah,
she stood up for herself, but also had feeling of guilt.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not her fault because it's like her dad's like, they're the ones that made that decision, and she was stuck dealing with it. So she's like, fuck this shit, I'm out, basically.
Yeah.
So she's basically looking for her girlfriend, who's not her girlfriend, but totally would be if she had the guts to admit it. So this role play that me and Simon have going is it does technically involve the same characters in our campaigin for the most part.
Said
but
they
it's
made
not
their bed, now they have to lay in it.
Exactly.
She's NTA
Tifa.
here.
Exactly.
Agreed,
Tifa.
agreed.
100%. So but this role play we have is completely non-canon from our campaign. And Simon's character, Simon, y'all saw him in Metopia. He fucking he outs Talia. He outs Talia to Mara, and then eventually through a bunch of shenanigans, ends up like Mara and Talia have hooked up at this point. Like, they are together now. Which is like a thing that I adore. But like, they haven't had really a big chance to to really like explore it yet, because they are now in the middle of a battle between Mara's dad, Simon's dad, and Mara's dad's boss. It's a big thing. So
sounds like it.
Yeah, no, it is.
Ooh.
It is fucking
That's
wild.
rough.
It is so wild,
Yeah.
and I love every second of it, honestly. Like, I am beyond invested at this
Simon
point.
Oma
Like, this is my life.
Said Tifa knows the boss, I'm using Blaze for him.
Yes. I know Tifa knows some of these characters and stuff. I need to share all of. I made more outfits or made more designs for Talia. I basically made it my mission that every session my character has has a new look, even if it's like slight variations on her usual appearance, since she can change her form. So like, you know, some days she'll be an elf,
Simon
and some
Oma
days she'll be like
Said
whatever.
of course you did.
But Simon, you don't understand. Okay, so I'm terrible at drawing. So I've been using a VTuber app called Reality to basically, like, I'll create the character in there and then I'll take screenshots and then, you know, I'll use those for her designs. I don't really post them anywhere. It's, you know, I'm always transparent about where it comes from. It's not the best practice in the world, I'll admit. But I'm always transparent about where I get my art. Quote unquote art.
That's fair.
They brought back the hair I used for Talia's original, like, design. So I've made variations. I recreated Talia in the app, and I just took more. So now she has, like, a purple version. I think she's got green, a couple different
Simon Oma
blues.
Said about time.
Yeah, I'm so glad they brought it back. So, like, what happens with that app is, like, it works on a gacha system, which I kind of hate. So, like, they have different, like, categories for stuff, and you can test them out, and then you can, like, you know, basically use real money to buy fake money to then get a chance at getting things, and then, like, sometimes you'll get duplicates or whatever. It's kind of annoying. And of course the ones that I like the most are always the fucking rare ones, and I refuse to spend money on them, so I just don't. So I'll just, like, try these little bits on, and then I'll take screenshots, and I need to share these with Tifa, because I love them so much. I love her so much. She has so many different so many different looks, a couple different outfits. But not, like, a ton, you know? It would be very cool one day if I could get, like, art commissioned for Talia. But, like, part of me is like, it's gonna be cool. It would be amazing, but it would also be a slippery slope, because I would want all of them. And
I gotcha.
If I add the ones I created last night to my folder, I will have more than 20 different designs for her. So
Yeah, I can see what you mean. That's
a lot.
Like, I want all the flavors.
I want all the flavors of ice cream, please. Anyway, I'm sorry. I basically dominated this whole thing. How you doing, Ultra?
No, it's okay. I came in the middle. I'm doing all right.
You're fine.
I was actually only gonna be here for a little bit because I've got a meeting I'm going to.
I gotcha.
But I'm still here for a little bit longer. So how have you been?
I'm doing okay. Sleep's been kind of fucked again.
Simon
To be
Oma
honest with you, I did
said,
not
yep, I'm
sleep
corrupting Min like I do Tifa.
very well last night myself. I need to get back on the sleep medicine.
I feel
honestly.
that. I feel that. I mean, other than that, I'm doing fine though. Like, just kind of been vibing. I'm doing this because I couldn't figure out what to play today. So, like, fuck it. I guess we're gonna chat. And I realized we've been here for, like,
That's fair.
we've been here
Tiff Tiffy said seems good.
for, like, how long have we been live for? 45 minutes.
Oh wow.
I am genuinely surprised I've lasted this long.
How long were you talking about your character?
Probably half that time.
Like before I came in?
So I started with
Oh, that's
talking
awesome.
about my friend's first experience with, like, roleplay, because I, like, decided to run a random improvised D&D-esque
Simon
thing
Oma
with her,
said that's D&D for you.
and she proceeded. I'm gonna give you the TLDR. She proceeded to blow up a town, trap it in a magical jar, Simpsons movie style, and then escaped into the Fey realm to get away from everything when it wasn't going her way.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And then we started talking about Mara and Talia. And I haven't even gotten to all the detail about them. But you know, it's fun because like I could I I also want to talk about the prison boat story. I should have just called this D&D stories. Cuz that's
Just
what
D and
this
D
Yeah.
storytelling. Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't
So,
mind, like I just real quick,
mhm.
I have kind of been interested in wanting to do that, and I know you've offered before. I've just been in an awkward position because within the last year or so, I talked to a friend, and I was going to do my first D&D thing with them, and we tried a few sessions, but a couple people that were going to be there ended up quitting, and I think it might have been the person's first time DMing, although they had done plenty of games before as player, but it might have been like one of their first times DMing, I think. And
it's a much different
it
experience
just didn't
from
stick
what I
around
can
for very
tell.
long, and I kind of just felt really socially anxious most of the time, and I kind of feel bad that it didn't work out. I mean, I think everyone's okay, but
I gotcha. It happens. You want to know what my
I
secret
don't know. I
was?
feel kind of awkward, but I would like to try at some point.
You definitely should. It's if
What's
you
your
can
secret?
find the right group. If you find the right group, you're gonna be golden
Simon Oma
for a while.
said, do I need to run something in VC like I do in our text chats that's like pure RP?
Ooh, that would be fun, Simon. I'd be down for that. Okay, but my secret, because I totally feel you when it comes to the socially anxious stuff. When I started playing with Simon and Game and Botch and Targe Bunny, and RDM, like, keep in mind, most of them were people that I knew back in high school, but like didn't really get a chance to hang out with, kind of thing. So like me hanging out with them for D&D was really like the first time that I'd really been able to get to know these people. So I was insanely nervous and anxious and whatever, because I was really new to D&D compared to the rest of them and stuff like that.
Right.
I'd only played a handful of games like over the last couple of years at that point. So I was
Simon
like,
Oma
I don't know if I'll
said,
catch
yeah,
up
we should
or
have
whatever.
hung out.
We definitely should have, Simon. But you know what? Hindsight's a bitch. But my secret was that I created a character with chronic anxiety to hide my anxiety and call it roleplay.
Oh, that's a good idea.
She was my
I kind of
first.
like that.
She was my first cleric. She's a half-elf life cleric. At the time, she was following, I believe it was Eldath, a goddess who is largely known for pacifism for the most part. She's a nature goddess, stuff like that. So my character,
Simon
we call
Oma
her Avi.
said it worked well for the most part.
For the most part, yeah. I think just that whole pacifism thing didn't really vibe with the group overall.
Simon Oma said she handled my bad touch bard well.
Oh my god, the bad touch bard. Okay. But yeah, so her name was Avalandra. Everybody called her Avi for short. And yeah, she was just this nervous wreck who basically, along with the rest of the party, ended up, after losing her home, she ended up getting captured and sent to basically, sent to the Underdark, which is just this massive network of, like, it's basically a whole other world, like, underground, and it's constantly shifting and changing, and it's full of all kinds of nasty, evil things that want everything dead. And it's basically like a kill or be killed type of scenario that this pacifist person is just stuck in. And of course, one of the people in this group that got kidnapped was, as Simon put it, his bad touch bard, who didn't really do a whole lot, like, as far as being creepy and stuff definitely implied things, but like didn't actually like do anything. So it was, you know, but Avi was very uncomfortable with him. It got to the point where the group decided to tie this dude up every night while they were sleeping so that he couldn't do anything. And Avi herself would always spend time on the opposite side of the group, no matter what, as long as she was not near him. And we had a wild magic sorcerer with us that Avi and him sort of develops like a
Simon
little
Oma
cute crush on each other.
Said for Tifa's reference he was like Scanlan.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was just like a little cute, like, they never admitted it to each other, but it was like just like sort of like an awkward thing. Like he'd help her out and just be like, hey, is it okay if like, it was just like this cute cute little dynamic going on. That campaign sadly didn't end up lasting because our DM was having trouble like running it and stuff. So he's just like, I think we're gonna call it, and you know, if we can figure out a better way to do it, then I'd be happy to do it again. But we've been doing other stuff since, so you know, it hasn't been. It is unfortunate that campaign is dead. But,
Said it's Simon Oma, oh boy, lol.
you know,
Yeah. It sounds like you had fun though.
it was a lot of fun. And then we've done a few other things, because like now we're doing Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which is where Talia and Mara come in, and you know, Simon's characters, that being, you know, Simon and Shumai and all the other characters that he's
Simon
made
Oma.
for backstory.
Said
your,
it was
like,
fun.
confidence with role playing and all that.
Yeah. So like I feel like I've made decent progress on my own, just like playing with other people, because I'm in like other groups as well that I'll usually play with on Thursday and stuff like that. You know, Prison Boat Story, that's where that group, I'll get to that one. I really want to talk about that one.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where you get better with it. Like if you it gets better with practice. You pretty much just got to dive in and build your confidence over time. Like if it helps if you know, manage to find a group of friends that want to play with you, and like they already know you and like what you're like, and are also patient. And I've had
that's what I thought the group was gonna be.
Right.
Just a couple people ended up leaving, and it just ended up being me, the DM, and one other person, and
Simon
I don't
Oma.
know.
It just
Said
didn't
you
quite
need
work
practice. I've been RPing for 2
Just
decades.
didn't quite work out. Yeah.
Might I Cartana? Said hey friendo,
I think it's just
see
also
we're
a
just
me
chilling
thing.
today. Nice.
Hey, Deb,
Oh,
welcome
hi.
in.
Because I think I just struggle trying new things. I just get anxious about it.
Oh, 100%.
Really
You know how
anxious.
long it took me to try D&D? Well, you want to know my first D&D experience? My very first? It was
Sure.
on a live stream.
Oh,
I had
boy.
our DM at the time for that particular one shot was like, okay, so we're doing this for a charity live stream. I would love to play D&D with some of you. So it was him and one other player had played D&D before. The rest of us had not. There was like 3 of us that were completely new to the game. So he's like, okay, so you know, before we do our before you get together and chat with me, I want you to like look up the rules, get an idea of what, you know, what the deal is with the game and stuff like that. And then if you have questions, you can ask me when we get together to talk about your character. Also start thinking about your character. And he actually did send us like, you know, here's a list of, you know, character races that you can pick from. Here's, you know, some basic rule stuff. I'd encourage you to look up
and
other
I don't-
things so that you'd know. But it was very much a crash course. And I was very, very overwhelmed. My first character that I created was a halfling rogue named Cora, and she was just basically a little prankster. She had basically no backstory because it was a one-shot, and I didn't really care too much about making a backstory. And I did not at the time have D&D Beyond. I didn't really know it was a thing. So, DM basically decides, okay, I'm just going to make the character sheet for you. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to explain it to you. And then I'm going to send it to you so that you have it like as a PDF. And I'm like, okay. This is going to be awkward. I managed to get through it when we did our stream, but I was nervous and it was very, very hard for me to keep up using a half accessible PDF. It was kind of rough, and our DM at the time didn't realize how tough it would be for me. Neither did I at the time. And I was like, okay, so at the end of it, I was nervous throughout the entire thing. It ended with the prison we were in getting set on fire and all kinds of shit happened. It was wild.
Said baby news. My nephew was born last Wednesday. Yep, he decided to show up early.
Oh,
Happy me.
Yay!
Mom and Dad got to see the little guy.
that's so sweet.
Oh my god, congrats! Congrats
That's
to them.
awesome. Yeah, congrats.
That's amazing. Holy crap, that must have been an event.
My
That's so
Cortana
awesome.
said thanks.
For sure. Sorry, I don't mean to immediately dismiss that to just dive back into this, but I was insanely anxious the whole time. I was quiet for most of the session, to be honest with you.
Tiff Tiffby
Said
it My Cortana. Congrats.
But we played for 6 hours that day.
Oh wow.
Hoax plays CA.
Yeah.
So you really
Said
dove
Bonjour
in.
Min.
Heck yeah. And then the next time I was
Did
able
you
to play...
did you do all that stuff on the day of on the stream?
Oh god,
Or-
no. We created our
Okay.
characters and shit ahead of time.
Right,
So that
okay.
we'd know what we were doing for the stream, kind of thing.
Right.
And it was also our DM, our DM at the time, that was his first time running a game. And he was actually really nervous because he had a friend of his tune in at the time, who was a DM for one of his other games. So he had this friend come in and just basically not necessarily, it wasn't not necessarily help out, but he definitely gave feedback after the fact kind of deal.
Yeah.
But he commented on a few of us, the players as well. And I didn't know about this until our DM messaged me a few days later going so, I've been talking to my other friend who's my DM for our other game, and he noticed that he was impressed with the way that you played. And I'm like, really? Because I was freaking out the entire time and I barely knew what I was reading. But I got a compliment from that stream, so I was like, okay, I mean, tell him thanks.
Well, yeah.
So when I started campaign
That's kinda
proper,
nice.
yeah, when I started campaign proper with that same DM, that's actually when I created Mara, who also didn't really have much of a backstory and stuff at the time, but now of course she's got way more. But that was also on stream. So pretty much up until I started playing with Simon and them, I'd only played D&D on stream. It was kind of a whole thing.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the VODs with hey Hoax, why is TTS not doing? Why is does TTS not read French? What's up, Hoax? Bonjour. What is happening?
I'm kind of relating to some
Simon
of what you
Oma
said.
said
Because
you did play
mine
on
wasn't
stream
on a
with us
stream
at
and we had
first too.
prepared and we just
That
had
is
a bunch
true.
of schedule conflicts that came up. But what was
Oh,
weird
yeah.
about mine is just I was kind of like you, where I just didn't really know how to talk much with that, but it was just me and one other person, so I had to. And
Said it did say, Bonjour Min, when the message came
yeah,
up.
I still don't really know totally how it works, and it was also just the overwhelm with the mechanics, and even though like we were doing something that was kind of Pokemon based, so I was thinking, well, maybe I'm familiar with Pokemon to some extent, so maybe that'll help, but I still just got overwhelmed. I mean, even though
That's fair.
nothing wrong with the DM, she was great. She gave a lot of help in this big document that I looked at and all that, but
it is
it was
okay.
also
So it is overwhelming at
I'm
first because there was a lot to
indecisive
take
and
in.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do?
Things sometimes, so yeah.
Simon Oma.
I'm gonna go
Said
pull
you
up
learn as
one of
you
my
play
What are you
and
character
get
gonna
more
sheets.
comfortable as you go.
Yes, I
Okay.
agree with that, Simon.
Sure.
I'm gonna pull up one of my character sheets just so that I can like, I mean, I'm not gonna show it, but I'm gonna like, just so I can like read from it, because basically I found that D&D Beyond is probably, I mean, I have problems with it, but I found it's like the most accessible tool for me to use. And there's ads. That's awkward. But okay, so there was one time. I pulled up Talia's character sheet. So there's one time we were in a fight and and Talia was just like, for some reason, just really far away from everybody. And I was actually
Simon Oma.
frustrated because I realized
Said it
I don't
makes
have.
things really easy and simple.
Yes, I agree. But there was this one point where I realized I didn't have anything to attack at range with Talia. She's a close range fighter and stuff. Like, she has a few spells to work with, but not anything for specifically combat at the moment. But you know, so there's like, but there's things you can do to get closer and stuff. Like, there's, you know, different actions that aren't specifically attacks and spells. Like, you can dash and do other stuff. But like, there's just this number of options, right? Like, I'm just like, okay, so I could cast this one spell at range. I can dash over, but that'll take some turns. I could just run and then cast a spell, and that would still take some turns to get close enough to actually hit this fucker with my sword. He was a creepy dude, by the way. We called him Mr. Creepy, for Simon's reference. And like, Mr. Creepy was like hitting on Talia. It was weird and creepy, and she was not having it. So she wanted to go right up and hit him with her sword. But she couldn't, and I admit I got a little bit frustrated during that particular fight because I'm like, oh man, why am I so friggin' far away?
Simon Oma. Said that voice man.
Yeah, no, the Mr. Creepy voice is just weird. So I did admit to my frustration during the game, and like our DM retconned it so that I would be a little bit closer, but I was like, he didn't have to, you know, I felt bad because I was like, I wasn't trying to ask for that. I was just like, I'm frustrated, I need a minute, just give me a second to breathe. Or I would have accepted, okay, we're gonna skip your turn for now, we'll come back to it when you're good, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he was still cool about it and things like that. I did feel bad, but it is what it is. So I was able to be close enough to actually attack and do some shit.
Simon
but
Oma.
like,
Said he gave you a free move in Shumai's home.
he did, and he was really cool about it. I was just like, oh man, I didn't mean to like do that though, because I was just like, oh man, I just need a second
Simon
to breathe.
Oma.
That's literally all I was
Said
trying
birth
to.
of frying pan of doom.
Frying pan of doom, yes. But yeah, no, like, I was just like, hey, I just need a minute to breathe, you know, just to calm myself down, because I didn't see the point in getting frustrated over this, but I was. So I'm like, rather than explode, I'm just gonna be honest, and I'm gonna just be like, give me a second, you know? But, you know, that's how our DM chose to respond to the situation, and like, you know, it went smoothly afterwards, and nobody seemed to be upset about it, but I felt bad. And I did apologize to him after the fact and stuff, and he was cool about it and everything. But I mean, there's a ton of different options. Like, my attacking options with Talia, She's got a dagger. She's got a rapier. She's got unarmed strike, which I never use
Simon
because
Oma
it does 0 damage.
said, "Nah, you were good."
You know, she's got like bardic inspirations, healing spells, all kinds of stuff. You know, so I'm like, that is a lot to keep track of, and thankfully, at least with D&D
Yeah.
Beyond, if you want to know what a spell does, you can just click on it and it'll bring up a little page and be like, this is what this spell does. So you don't have to memorize things, because holy crap, there's so much.
That's good.
There is so much.
Yeah.
I have my own problems with D&D Beyond, especially with the way Wizards of the Coast has been handling shit. Mainly because of Hasbro's bullshit, but it still remains the most accessible tool that I can use, so I'm kind of stuck using a
Simon
thing
Oma
made by a
said,
company
"Have
I'm not
fun with
happy with.
D&D talk. Gotta go now."
Alrighty, have fun with your own D&D, Simon.
Bye. Have
Goodbye. Kick some ass.
fun.
Excuse me. But yeah, I'm not gonna get into Wizards of the Coast bullshit. It's still
Simon
a tool
Oma
I use
said, "I will
regularly.
Simon tonight."
Heck yeah. You kick some ass. Go for it. But I find that definitely helped with the anxiety, like having something that makes things a little bit more simple and easier to use. Because, like, you know, during my first game, I was fighting with a barely accessible PDF, right? So, you know, D&D Beyond is not entirely accessible to screen readers, but it's accessible enough, kind of by accident, to the point where, like, you can use it, you know. But for me, I find it's great because they have like a dark mode that you can toggle your character sheet to, so everything's just white on black and it's nice and clean and simple, and I don't know, just everything's in a spot that mostly makes sense. Sometimes there's some weird shit. It's a little bit janky some places. But you know, there's a panel with, you know, your actions, your spells, inventory, features and traits, descriptions, and notes and shit. That's all on the same panel, but there's just different tabs. So you don't need to scroll through a bunch of shit to get to your inventory. You can literally just click the inventory tab and you're there. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas on a written out sheet, you have to, like, you know, go through it and just, you know, find those little spots. But like here, it's just like its own separate little tab on the same panel, but like it's all there, you know? So it's all like broken down in a way that's pretty nice, and, you know, again, still janky sometimes, but overall simple. So I find that has helped me, especially with the indecision and stuff, because like if I'm just like, okay, I want to attack, I'm just gonna go to the attacks tab and look at my attacks, you know? And then I'm not like, okay, do I want to do a spell instead? And it's like, if I do, I just go to it just helps me, like, if I'm not looking at like 10 million things, I find that I don't get as overwhelmed personally.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I find that's helped me a lot. Also, just playing it and getting that practice in, like, you learn as you go, and I find that's the best way to handle D&D. I still don't consider myself, like, quote unquote good at it per se, but like, there's not really a way to be good at D&D. You either just play it or you don't. As far as roleplay goes, that you pretty much just, it's just practice. And like, you know, there are games that aren't, you know, you can have games that aren't super roleplay heavy if you're not as comfortable with that or whatever, and that's valid. You know, in my Wednesday group, which is, you know, the Waterdeep one with Simon and them, and where I'm playing Talia, we have a player that's pretty quiet most of the time, but like, you know, she's been participating more and more as she's been getting used to the group and stuff like that. So it's like, it's a combination of practicing and just figuring out your chemistry with the group that you're in, and if they're, you know, willing to work with you on that as well, kind of thing.
Okay.
And this is all assuming that like your schedules and stuff aren't a conflict, because scheduling is probably the biggest killer of most D&D games, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, people have lives or whatever. No big deal or anything, just I don't know. It is what it is. Excuse
Yeah.
me. But yeah, I mean, if you'd like, because Ursa has been trying to set up like a one shot and stuff, I can't, you know, promise that he'd let you in necessarily. I'm not going to speak for him on that. But
Right.
if you're interested, you know, maybe give him a DM, maybe see if he's down to add an extra player. Again, not going to guarantee anything, but
Right. I mean, I'll think about it.
for sure.
I just think I want to try again eventually. I just got a lot of stuff going on right now.
That's valid.
And a lot of it is just like I'm trying to do new stuff and get over that anxiousness.
That's fair.
That's just a lot of things in general, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that.
I feel that. And like, you know, D&D will take up a lot of your time. Especially if you're like me and you have multiple games a week. Like on an ideal week, I have 3. Like
wow. Okay.
In a row even. Like we'll have our Tuesday game, we'll have our Wednesday game, and then I'll have my Thursday game with my other group. And like technically it's 3 different groups, but some of them overlap.
Sorry.
But it's a lot of D&D. That's why my Wednesday streams are usually earlier, because of D&D.
Mhm.
So, it's kind of a whole thing. Speaking of Thursday group, can I tell the can I tell the prison boat story now?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, we're like an hour into this. Oh my god. I didn't think I'd talk for this long. Hang on. I need liquids.
Yeah.
Okay.
You sure hydrate.
100%. So, prison boat story. So, my Thursday group, technically we have 2 campaigns going. We're doing one while the other is on hiatus. But our original one, it's a homebrew world. We're using like normal 5e mechanics with like, you know, the 5e races and stuff, but the world itself is completely homebrewed. Basically, our party makes up the core of a resistance fighting against the monarchy, who has stolen the power of all the gods and imprisoned the gods, leading everyone to believe that there is only one, and they control everything, and we're fighting against that. Someone that we needed to rescue ended up in prison because they were caught helping us out, and they do their own thing as part of the resistance, mainly providing magical baked goods, which magic in that world is supposed to be outlawed and stuff. So it's like, if you're caught doing that illegally, you're fucked basically. So like, you know, magic is like, they're like, magic can only be controlled by members of the church and shit.
Yeah.
So we decide that we're gonna break this guy out, right? Because we're like, we can't let him die. He's got a little girl who's terrifying in her own way. Excuse me. But we're like, no, we can't do that. We gotta get him out. So our wizard, as we're trying to find a way to sneak into the prison, our rogue tries to disguise herself and try to persuade them to let her in and stuff like that, but it didn't really work out. Our wizard sends his familiar up into the sky with a little token that, when activated, transforms into a little boat, or a rather sizable boat actually, that looks like a flamingo. And as I'm talking, I'm looking for a particular screenshot because I need to share this this madness. I need to read out this madness, I should say. So,
Yeah.
as we're trying to formulate a plan, our wizard loses contact with his familiar. Mainly because that familiar had like 2 intelligence, was dumb as fuck, and just sort of got distracted and dropped the token, activating it in the process. So this giant,
oh my god,
this big ass flamingo boat just crashes into the prison from above, taking out pretty much half of it. And it took out at least 4 guards in the process. So my friend wrote in a Discord with his other friends. He's like, well, my wizard dropped a 50-foot boat on a prison. How has your game been going? Right? His friend responds, how? You can't just say that and disappear. Please explain in detail. And after a time of not getting a response, his friend's like, what's the full story? Right? So, our wizard writes, I'm playing an Order of the Scribes wizard. We needed to break someone out of jail. I set my familiar to go up into the sky with a feather token, which is the swan boat, and we homebrewed it to be a flamingo because flamingos. And told it to drop it after I gave the signal. Our bard tried to get in, but failed. Our rogue also tried. I lost contact with my 2 intelligent owl. Last thing I know, boat crashes into the prison. End scene. Did 183 damage at level 4. We took out 4 guards, broke down half the fucking thing. We started a whole shit show where we just sort of broke in and just, we got the guy out. It was a rough fight though. Because, after,
awesome.
after, dropping a boat on a fucking prison, we sort of, brought a lot of attention to ourselves. And this was after we set the sewers on fire. So.
Yeah.
And I bet you're wondering how that happened. So. Rewind to earlier in the campaign. We were told that we had to get to another resistance base via the sewers. And we discovered that this is when a lot of our players learned that a whole bunch of us didn't have dark vision. Like, only 2 of us did. So our wizard decides to bring a lantern into the sewers. Lo and behold, the sewers were full of, like, basically slimes and stuff that are apparently oil-based and stuff. Because apparently the sewers get clogged with slimes in the summertime because that's where they migrate. It's gross and smelly and icky. But they're also really acidic, so like when you touch them, you're gonna have a bad time. So basically we couldn't go near the water, or like we couldn't go into the water or anything without feeling the burn. So we were making our way through this dark ass prison, or not prison, sewer, and we get attacked by these weird octopus creatures that I guess decide to see us as a threat. So we end up fighting this thing. We do end up killing it, but in the process, our wizard drops the lantern because they were holding it with their mage hand, which is just basically a little magical construct thing that can manipulate small objects and shit. So they were holding it up so that they could still fight, but they lost concentration, so the lantern falls in the water. Sets the oil ablaze. And basically it was a mad dash to get out of there. We did find our way to the portal that took us to another dimension to get to the base.
Said, hey Min, busy with class, but I hope you have a nice time today.
Heck yeah, you too. Good luck with class. But yeah, so we ended up in this pocket dimension that I can only describe as the end from Minecraft, but not. And then eventually, when we went back to town, we discovered that the fire that we had sort of caused, everything just sort of exploded, and a lot of the fire spread to the town above. Thankfully, it was put out pretty quickly. Unfortunately, it was put out pretty quickly by the antagonist that decided to use that to her advantage and paint us as the bad guys. So, that was fun. That's partly how the guy got caught and sent to prison, because he started secretly handing out muffins to a lot of the people that were hurt in order to help heal them. But he was caught and taken to prison. So a lot of us were sneaking through this soaking and burned town for a while trying to find the prison. And then the boat thing happened. So yeah. Turns out you can set the sewers on fire.
That's crazy.
And those two things happened so early on in that campaign, and those are still my two favorite stories to tell. We've had all kinds of other crazy shenanigans happen. But those are my favorites because, if that's not a perfect example of the essence of D&D, I don't know what is. You just got to embrace the chaos when it happens, you know?
Yeah.
And and sometimes in those moments, it's so hard to stay in character because you're just like, what the fuck just happened? What actually went down here, you know?
Yeah.
It's wild, and this is why I love this game, because it's so insane and random sometimes, and God, I'm so sorry. I told you we'd be here forever if we talked about D&D. Did I not warn y'all? I feel like I warned y'all. Excuse me. It's just a good time. But see, now I'm now I don't know what to talk about next. I could talk more D&D stuff, but I'm also this ended up being this was supposed to be a just chatting, but I'm arguably I could have given this the D&D category. I'm not gonna worry about it, but you know.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been quiet.
You're fine.
Like I said, I didn't sleep very well last night, or very much, honestly, and I decided I got prescribed a slightly stronger dose of my stimulant for ADHD, and I was waiting for, I got prescribed another thing, and I was trying to get used to that, and decided to start the increased dose today, and I think I'm trying to get used to it because it's making me feel really anxious, which is kind of funny because I'm talking about anxiety right now, and I've been feeling that today. I don't know if you know what I mean, but
I think so.
I've noticed this sometimes when I start a new stimulant, and it's I feel antsy.
I
And
mean,
it's like,
that
I don't know.
makes yeah. You're trying to get used to new things that you're putting into your body, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess to an extent, I can understand that. I haven't really had.
I don't know if I
do
said that
anything like
earlier.
that.
Sorry if I did. I just,
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
It doesn't really help that I've just been constantly rambling for the past while, so the
And honestly,
Yeah.
probably gonna stay here a little longer because that thing I was supposed to go to, I kind of missed it. It's not like I had to be there, but I was thinking about maybe going, but it's fine.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I kind of just forgot, and also, I don't know. I've been anxious all day today. I just feel like chilling, and
I mean, that's
I've got to
fair.
finish a few homework things. But,
I gotcha.
yeah.
No worries.
I've been playing some stuff, some new things. While ago on Steam, I got this game on a sale. It's like called The Crew 2. It's a racing game. It's pretty cool. Its whole deal is that it's like a really large open racing game. Like it has a scaled down version of the continental United States with all these cities. And I don't know, it didn't, like, I thought it was cool the first time I tried it, but it didn't really hit me. But now I tried it again because I got reminded of it from a certain event, and yeah, I think it's cool.
Well, there you go.
Of course, they made a new one that's instead based on Hawaii, and it seems like it's interesting, but it's not as big. It's more of like the quality over quantity, which I think is cool, but at the same time, I feel like the whole quantity scale of the map is part of like what makes it stand out, you know? So, because you can, like, that map's so big, you can start from one side and go for over an hour, and it'll still not quite make it to the other end.
That's crazy.
Depending on what route you take. Like, it's huge. And it's not perfect, but it's
absolutely
a pretty
massive.
cool map. Yeah, I've just had a history with those, like, because the first one I played was called that's kind of like that. It's called Test Drive Unlimited. That one was also a Hawaii one, but that one was actually a 1-to-1 scale replica with creative liberties of Oahu, like the main island.
I feel
with,
like I've
Honolulu
heard
on
of
it.
that. Like,
I've
I don't
played
really
a
know
lot of
anything.
that on
I don't really know anything about it, but
It's
I feel
really
like I've heard the
cool.
name.
Or I think it's really cool because of just the scale of it and how immersive it feels. Like, you can just take road trips and stuff.
Sure.
And this kind of has that same feeling, except it's not 1-to-1, but it's still like really big.
I gotcha.
So yeah, they're actually making a new Test Drive game. It's also going to be 1-to-1, but it's smaller. But I think it'll be really cool. It's going to be like Hong Kong Island. They're making a replica of Hong Kong Island, and that's going to be the map. And I'm interested to see where it goes. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I just kind of, part of what kept me up last night was I was just cruising around that map. I was just like, oh hey, I'm just gonna go from Seattle to Chicago, and then I'm just gonna keep on driving. It's just something nice about it, just to me at least. I don't know, I just think it's cool.
I gotcha. That definitely sounds interesting. Like, I haven't been as invested in games like that, but it sounds cool.
It reminds me of like a video essay I watched like within the past few weeks of, it talked about large scale games and how some games are, you know, inexplicably like much larger than other ones, and yet for some reason, despite that, they still don't feel as large as games that are smaller. And if basically, like, they were saying, like, take some of the larger modern space games that are out there, like Elite Dangerous or No Man's Sky. Those are very much like some of the largest games in terms, like, you have galaxies in that game, like,
oh shit,
full galaxies, full scale. Like, it's crazy. And it takes you forever to travel across. So, like, in a strict sense, it is very big. But for that person, like, they were talking about this other game called Fuel, which is another driving game. I haven't played that one, but it's like a procedurally generated, like, post-apocalyptic Mad Max style racing game. And for some reason, even though it's big by a game standard, but it's not as big as the space thing, but it just feels bigger because it's on more human scale, if that makes sense. And I thought that was kind of an interesting idea of, even though it's not strictly bigger, it still feels bigger because it has more of an anchor to the human scale.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's kind of interesting.
It does sound neat.
Because in like the other games, like, you're just flying through planets and you can't really comprehend that on a human scale. And I mean,
Yeah.
you're also going faster than light, so it kind of,
I mean,
it's
that's
going
cool
way
as
faster
fuck,
than it
not
actually
gonna
would.
lie, but I get you.
I think it's awesome too. But there's, there is a different feeling to it,
Sure.
one versus the other.
100%.
And I think they're both cool. I just thought that was interesting.
No, I definitely hear you. Okay, sorry, I got myself distracted a little bit. So oops. Hang on. I got Discord noties happening. What's happening?
But I just like that immersion, especially Test Drive Unlimited did a lot of that, because it you have the 1-to-1 scale map, and to buy the cars in most games, you just like go into this menu that's like a dealership or whatever. But in that game, you drive up to a dealership on the world that sells a specific type of car, just like real life. And you go in, and it's a showroom, just like real life, and you customize it with this brochure looking thing, like real life, and it's kind of cool. It feels personal.
That's awesome.
And then you buy houses to store your cars. They don't just sit in some magical void.
Right.
So it's kind of like, and then you can dress up your character and stuff, even though that's not as like a whole lot of point to that, given like you're in the car most of the time, but kind of a neat touch.
Sure. You got that little
and then
extra
in
polish.
The second game, they even let you like walk around more, and they have a casino island too. So it's kind of like trying to go a lifestyle sim, but it's kind of a unique approach to making it like more immersive. Just putting those details there that you wouldn't otherwise see. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that level of polish is always awesome.
Yeah. Because it's not as like strictly exciting or purposeful for the gameplay, but it's just, it adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some of what I was thinking of. And that also had me thinking, like, what would it be like if they were to do something like that, but instead of the continental US, it'd be like Europe? How would that work? And I mean, they'd have to approach that differently, because in this game, they kind of, some states are very much overrepresented versus others. The geography is kind of weird.
Gotcha.
Like, it's an artistic recreation, but whatever. But if it was Europe, like, these are all different countries, and
yeah, there's
all
kinds of different like architecture depending on where you're at, and
their due representation.
Yeah.
You know? So you kind of have to pay more attention to that versus the US, which is just one country with a lot of diversity still, but like
100%.
I don't think there's going to be as many people upset if you skip over one state in the US versus a country in Europe, because it's a country versus just a part of a country, you know?
Yeah, because you're talking about a continent versus a country.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, to be fair, the US takes a massive chunk out of that continent, but you know, it's still one country versus one, several.
Like a bunch of country with a lot of, different nationalities and histories and architecture, and
all kinds of shit that's very much deserving of that representation, but I can see why it would be difficult to include all of it, because that would be that's
which
a
is
lot.
why I'm
That's a
not a
lot of thing
developer
to
and I
pay
don't know
respect
how
to.
all that works, but I think it'd be kind of ideal if you could kind of have it be a rolling thing where, say, you start with 1 or 2 countries and then over time you update it to add more and more
Sure.
to the game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course, by a certain point, you reach areas that are more in conflict, that are kind of contentious, and it's like, how do you approach this? Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, say you get to Ukraine and it's like, well, we could put Ukraine in there, but would it be disrespectful to put it there when like they're having a war right now and you don't want to just kind of pretend that doesn't exist? So yeah, there are certain, other places like
Yeah, that's
that are
and
more
that's fair
complicated
because like you got to figure
to
out where that
consider.
line is.
Yeah. And that also had me like, I'm sorry if I'm going too deep with this. I hope
You're
you
fine.
don't mind.
No worries.
But it also makes me want to see if I could like do some sort of analysis on like the map of the crew game that I've been playing, the US one, and see like which areas get overrepresented versus underrepresented, and like how that aligns with other stuff.
That'd be interesting to
This
see,
is-
actually.
Been aligning with some of the classes I'm taking because I'm taking this like geography class and I'm also taking this like politics and media class right now, and
Hmm.
all that kind of just lined up together in my head. I'm like, that'd be kind of interesting to look at.
I
Because
hear
you
that.
look at that map, it's like Florida's way bigger than real life. California is way bigger than real life. Texas is also pretty overrepresented. But then like certain entire areas are just skipped over. Like the Carolinas don't exist pretty much. And other places are like, well, it might be there, but it's not really strictly yes or no, So
I
it's kind of
gotcha.
weird.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily bad. You have to make compromises, but it's interesting to look at, I think.
Yeah, no, I
But
totally
yeah,
hear you
that's
there.
my whole thing. I hope that wasn't too much.
You're fine. I am also thinking, just kind of sidestepping that at the moment. I'm doing this, right? The chatting thing, because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to stream today. Because I'm like I know we got
Yeah.
Paper Mario going on, but I'm saving that for Wednesday so that Simon can actually be around to do it, because he wanted to do it with me, and I'm like, I don't want to leave you out again. Because I know I did chapter 2 without him and stuff, but like, I don't want to keep leaving him out. And like, he's just like, you can do it without me, it's cool, but I'm like, no, I don't want to. But like, and I wasn't sure that I was feeling like playing it today anyway. I was just like, I don't really know what I want to do. Like, I've mentioned wanting to play Mother 3. I've mentioned wanting to maybe dive into like Pokemon Heart Gold or something. I have a randomizer seed
Yeah.
ready to go. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do another Nuzlocke. Cause like, I mean,
Is it just like the feeling of like being afraid you committed to something?
no,
sorta?
it's just like, I enjoyed doing the
okay,
Sapphire
sorry.
Nuzlocke, but I don't care for Nuzlocks personally. Like, I mean, if like, I'm not gonna obviously sit here and be like, ugh, Nuzlocks suck. It's just, they're not for me personally.
That's fair.
So I'm like, while I did enjoy the one, I'm not sure if I want to do it again. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I want to do some other type of run, but I just can't really decide what I want to actually do with it. Because I did like that whole like type limiting one with Platinum, which was fun, but also very restrictive. So I'm like, do I just want to do a casual playthrough? Because like, I feel like that's a valid choice that like, I feel like a lot of...
Or maybe do like a ROM hack or something? I don't know.
No, I don't want to do a ROM hack. Because I've already got the ROM
Oh, you
ready
don't?
to go.
Okay.
Like, I already have the
Gotcha.
ROM, right? It's just what type of run...
Yeah. I get it now. You have the set game, and okay, sorry. I thought you were
Like-
talking about Pokemon in general.
Yeah, no, like, I
For a
have
sec.
a
But now I
Heart
get it
Gold...
now.
I have a Heart Gold ROM, and it's already randomized, right? It's already ready
Yeah.
to go. I'm just trying to decide what type of run I want to do with it.
Okay. Sorry, that wasn't clear.
You're fine. You're
For
fine.
me.
You're fine. So I'm just like, it's like, do I want to
Yeah, I don't know.
give it like a theme? Do I want to do a challenge? Because, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I'm not outright against doing another Nuzlocke. I just don't want to do one now.
Question: do you have a Pokewalker?
No, well,
Or
that
wait,
one's not going to
crap,
work with
that's-
an emulator anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Oops. I was just thinking off the top of my head because I know the Pokewalker functionality actually opens up a lot of possibilities for playthroughs. But then again, if you're playing with a randomizer, that's okay. Yeah,
That's probably not going to matter
Never
much
mind.
anyway. But
I was just brainstorming.
it's no, I hear you. That's an interesting thought. In all fairness, like, you know,
Because I mean, in a regular playthrough, you can actually use the Pokewalker to get a lot of stuff way earlier than you would be able to otherwise.
Yeah.
You just have to do a lot of walking, which fine with me.
Yeah. I don't have one of those because I never had
to walk
Heart
more.
Gold and Soul Silver. Like, I never had that. I never actually played them.
I gotta
so
tell you how I got mine.
I think I was
real
there
quick,
when you've been like, because you've been hunting for DS games for a bit, haven't you? Or at least you were.
Yeah, I was for a while, but then I decided more recently that I wanted to like just sell my little collection I had and use it to get another handheld. So that's what I did.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Because like
because
they
I'm
are
just like thinking
sometimes really hard to find now, though, too.
it's just expensive, and I just felt
Yeah.
like I'd rather use that on getting another handheld.
First of all, it makes me feel old as fuck to know that, like, that's considered retro now. And I hate that. It's like, no, I'm not that old yet. Come on.
I mean, I didn't even start on that. I started on the 3DS, and I started on the 3DS when it was within its first year, me going into 5th grade. So,
and that's, oh, that
I
hurts
mean,
my
I
soul.
saw other people with DSs, but
Yeah. No, but like, it's just crazy to
I
know
mostly
that
feel
like
bad because
DS
I've
era
lost
games.
my stuff over the years.
I get that. It just makes me feel things because like DS games are considered retro now, and I'm like, but no.
Yeah, that's weird.
No. No, come on. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Just not yet, okay? It's too soon. I'm not that old yet. Come on. So like, and
DS isn't the
I
DS
didn't have
almost 20 years old now?
yes.
Oh, I just start thinking
Yeah.
that when you start talking about it.
My friend, one of my best
That's
friends
crazy.
back in the day, like she got the DS, the original DS, like the big clamshell motherfucker, at launch
Ooh.
when I was 12. I hate everything.
Okay. Wow.
I hate everything. So I understand why it's considered retro, but I hate that it's considered retro.
Said I'm sorry, the OG DS is what old now?
The OG
I
DS
think it's almost 20.
has been around since I was 12. I'm 31. I don't want to do that math. I refuse. I don't care how easy that math is, I'm not doing it.
Fair enough.
Cuz I didn't get my DS until I was 14, and I got the DS Lite.
Nice.
I didn't get that until I was 14 when not even when Diamond and Pearl came out. It was like a few months later because my parents got it for me for grade 8 grad. I'm not sure why they got my brother one, because they got my brother one at the same time. Like, we both got DSs. And then a couple months after that, after we had like no games to play on it for a couple of months, then they got us Pokemon. So like we were just basically using them as glorified GBAs for a while.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just reminds me when I first got my 3DS, and this just like makes me, you know, especially when I was looking more recently at some of the Awada Asks stuff where they go in depth with how the 3DS was made. It just made me, it touched my heart so much
Ursa
because
Major
that
VT
first month or so I
said
had
I'm
the
back.
3DS. I don't even think I had any games with it, but
Welcome
I
back,
wasn't
Ursa.
bored. I was just messing around with all the games they included and apps they included within it, and I was just having a blast.
They dropped a lot of shit in there.
And they just jam-packed it with so much. They put so much effort into it, and I'm really appreciative. They touched part of my childhood.
No, they really did.
I think that's awesome.
And like,
I mean, I didn't even need to buy a game for a month. Like,
sure.
I was like, whoa, I got these AR cards and face raiders and the sound and the 3D pictures and
Yeah. Like,
random demos and stuff. Like,
it came with stuff that you could entertain yourself with for a little bit. I
Ursa
remember
Major
when I
VT
got my DSi.
Said, what are we talking about right now?
We're talking about like we started in with like how DS games are fucking retro now, and then I realized that the original DS came out when I was 12. And now it's just gone into like the effort that Nintendo put into like adding cool fun things to like the DS and 3DS and stuff.
and the Switch like now comes with almost like, I mean, it has built-in apps, sure, but like it doesn't have
yeah,
fun
kinda.
extras like that.
Yeah, like it's just basically just here's the thing, buy games.
There's no cute little
play the
games.
Like there's nothing. So the Switch is a great console, right?
Yeah.
When I say what
I
I'm about
agree.
to say, this
I
is
think
not
it's
me
good.
saying that the Switch sucks. The Switch is great,
Yeah.
but there is zero charm in like with the main menu and stuff like that compared to the like DS, 3DS, and Wii U.
Tiff Tiffy said sits in a
Yeah,
corner with a Doom
I
Cloud. I was
agree.
12 when it came out too.
I mean, have you seen some of the leaks?
I'm so
from
glad
it?
I'm not alone,
Like,
Tifa. I'm sorry, Tifa.
oh,
I'd give you a hug if I could.
oh,
I
God.
genuinely would.
But there
but
was like
yeah,
a
no,
leak
like-
of like eShop music that they were gonna use, and it sounded pretty cool, but they never used it.
Tiff Tiffy
Yeah, like
And
said,
then there
where has
more
all that
recently, I
time
think
gone?
there was on a development Switch, there was pictures of an earlier UI design, and I don't know if it was really better. It was had more graphical
so
stuff to it.
I
Which is
have
kind of
mixed
nice, but that might have
feelings.
just been a novelty thing.
I have mixed feelings about Nintendo's UIs, right? Because, like, even back on the Wii, it was charming as hell, right? And Wii U was also charming, 3DS was charming, but I do have to admit, as much as I'm complaining about the fact that the Switch one is just sort of there, and there's like no charm to it,
Mhm.
it serves a purpose, and it's more accessible by comparison to like the 3DS
Yeah,
and
it's
shit.
a lot snappier,
Like
which is cool.
I just find it's easier to find shit because sometimes I find that Nintendo puts things in weird spots and makes certain things really weird to get to, or just makes them work in really fucking weird ways. But I do have to admit, the visuals on those menus were very fun. The eShop music, I've never been happier going shopping, even though I never fucking bought anything on there. Like sometimes I would just go to the
general
eShop just to
trigger,
jam
bro.
out to the song, right? Because it was just fun.
Yeah.
And like now I can't do that. I can't just go to the store and listen to music. There's nothing there. So I'm like, Okay,
honestly,
well, I guess I'll just play my own music,
with that
which
whole
is fine.
philosophy of making things snappy, that's where the Switch fails. Not that previous shops didn't have their own slowdowns, but the Switch is like a
I
is it
despise
like a
the Switch
website
eShop.
built
I
into
despise
it.
it.
It's so laggy. I hate it.
Not
I
only
don't
is
know
it
why they didn't make a purpose-built app and make it as
Not only
snappy
is
as the
it-
rest of the system.
not
'Cause
only
it
is
would've
it
been really
laggy,
cool.
not only is it laggy, but why the fuck is the panel on the left orange? Could you not
Yeah,
have
I don't
picked a
know.
worse color for contrast? Do you know how hard it is
Other
to
than,
read
like-
that shit?
Yellow and white or something.
Yeah, like, do you know how hard it is to fucking read that shit?
To be
I don't even-
honest,
I just-
I've never thought about that before, but that's
It's
just me. I've never
fucking
thought
horrible.
about that before.
It,
but
it is physically painful to look at. Like, it hurts.
that really sucks. though.
Genuinely hurts me to look at. Like, I have to like magnify it all the time, and it's just really the fact that the Switch has a magnifier is great. I don't know how else they would have implemented it if they did it any other way, but it is also clunky. It's great and clunky. So I'm like constantly having to hit the home button to turn the thing on and off so that I can, you know, move and then read and then move and then read and then it's just
You think they'll ever implement a screen reader?
I
Or
doubt
do they
it.
just not care?
Knowing
It's
knowing
like every other
Nintendo,
console has a screen reader.
like, let's be
No,
honest,
Nintendo only accidentally makes their things accessible.
only by accident.
That's
it's
what
never
it feels like.
it's never on purpose. It's always by
1-2
accident.
Switch, accidentally
So-
like one of the most accessible Nintendo games ever made.
So, okay,
But,
to be
yeah.
fair, the magnifier was intentional. So, good on them for that.
So I mean,
Um
yeah, that's good.
Right?
Respect to that.
But and like, to be fair to them also, despite me complaining that it's clunky, I don't really see another way that they could have implemented it. Cuz like, how else would you do it, right? Especially if you're trying to also accommodate button controls as well as touch controls, cuz like, if you're going with just touch controls, one, that would only be available in handheld mode. And that would suck. And probably work similar to how it works on the iPhone or something, which, you know, isn't great for something like the Switch, which you need. If you're gonna have that accessibility, you've got to accommodate both control schemes, which they pretty much just had it to. Listen, you're just gonna double tap that home button, like, that's what it's gonna be. You're gonna use the sticks to control it. That's what you get. You can use that no matter what state your Switch is in. Fine. That makes sense.
Yeah, it works okay enough.
Yeah, like
It's
it
just-
functions. I don't know how they can improve it, to be honest. I
I
find
don't
it-
really know what other console people do, but
Yeah,
so I don't.
because I
really-
haven't really seen that on
I don't
other
think I've
consoles
messed around
either.
with the magnifier. Yeah.
I've seen like the screen reader on like PS4 and stuff. Not really seen it on Xbox, but I've definitely seen it on PS4, and I don't love it either. But it enables so many people to be there and do that and play on the thing. So, you know, it's obviously working. So, like, these features need to be there. Like, that accessibility needs to exist. And I'm glad that we're at a point where it does to an extent. I wish there was more. Like, I wish we had more accessibility than
Same.
what we've got. But at the same time, compared to even a couple of years ago, like, say 5-6 years ago, we didn't have that yet. Actually, no, that's probably not true. It's probably closer to 10. But like, we didn't have that at that
Hello.
point yet. What happened?
Howdy, I am here for the next 10 minutes.
Oh, hey, Holly.
Welcome.
Hi. Are
I'm
we
not-
still on stream?
We are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. It actually worked out pretty well because I need to get off for just a minute, but I'll be back.
Oh, there you go. I don't know how much
just
longer
gotta
we're
walk
gonna
back
go
home.
for because we've been on for like, how long has it been? How long
2 hours.
have we been rambling for? Yeah, just about.
Yeah, I am. I'm currently booking it between classes, but I also have to go off and get some.
All right. Well,
Oh, you
What's up?
lagging.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm booking it between classes, but I need to go to the corner store and get some cup noodles so I can have
Gotcha.
something for lunch.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and walk home. But if you're still streaming, I'll come back on.
Yeah, I'll
Alrighty.
be around for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm probably
Alright,
gonna
see
I'm
y'all.
probably gonna end soon, so probably not. Alright. I don't know how long I'm gonna be, to be honest. I've spent like
Yeah.
a good chunk of this stream ranting about, not ranting, just recounting D&D
Rambling.
stories and talking about all kinds of shit, and then we went to like, oh, what was the game that Ultra mentioned before? A couple of racing games, and now we're talking about DS's and Nintendo and accessibility and how it doesn't exist as much as I wish it did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a
I have
ride.
been in classes all day. I am so tired of this.
Oh no.
I've got a class next that goes for an hour, and then I have to race home so I can attend my statistics class.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That
Ursa Major VT
sounds
said, "Hey
difficult.
Holly,
Ursa says hi.
Oh, hello. I'm like in a daze.
You're fine. It's been a weird day because like I slept in again.
Oh,
And
did
like I slept. Well, okay, so like I've been in and out of sleep, and I got out of bed finally at like 1:30,
Okay.
which is not great.
Ursa Major
But here
VT
we are.
said, sorry I haven't been that present. I'm cooking tacos, yum yum.
Ooh,
Yep,
I want
here we are.
tacos, bro.
What
Don't worry about it.
tacos?
Ursa was apologizing for not being as present because he's currently making tacos, and
Ooh.
I'm jealous. I want tacos. But yeah, like I got up at like 1:30 today, and I'm like, shit, I still don't know what I want to stream. I've been debating on what to do for like the past 3 days. And like, you know, I was getting like Simon chatting with me in the Discord, and you know, he's just like, I don't know, like flip a coin,
Ursa
and I'm
Major
like, but I
VT
don't have
said,
options
all
to flip a
homemade,
coin
I'll
on.
share.
So I'm just like,
Good
I
point.
don't know. I'm like, I don't, you know, if I had a couple of ideas
Major
that I wanted
VT
to do today, I could
said,
probably
let
do that.
Ursa feed you in chat.
And then I would love some tacos, bro. Fucking share. And then he's like, well, I mean, you can do Paper Mario, I just can't join. And I'm like, but I don't want to do Paper Mario if you're not there, because that was like, I did that once and I felt bad because that was a thing that he wanted to do with me.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'm just like, I'll do that on Wednesday, but I don't know what I want to do today. So that's been my day. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna talk at you guys for 2 hours apparently. I was sitting here going, this is probably not gonna be as long a stream as usual, but here we are. They got me talking about D&D, and that definitely
Sounds like
inflated the
it's
tone.
Sounds like it's been a lot.
I mean, it's been fun, honestly. I don't think I'm gonna do just chatting streams often because I don't think I have that much to talk about. But every now and then, sure.
I have been as of late trying to push myself through school, obviously. I've also been playing more Final Fantasy. there's basically a roleplay venue that's having me work there now. It's kind of like a very posh bar sort of thing.
That sounds neat.
It's very nice and it pays well. And we're figuring we're gonna have an emo themed night for Valentine's Day.
That sounds like a ton of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun. I've been making good friends with the other people who work there.
Right on.
Speaking of work, though, I have so much going on with school and such a big workload. I can't find work.
Oh no.
No one will hire me, but that does mean that I can keep claiming unemployment.
I mean, as long as that works for the time being.
It works for the time being. I have until October to figure out something.
Right.
And I can figure out something by then, but like my current schedule goes very late.
Gotcha. Oh, there's the lag again. And there's the ads. I was wondering when those would show up. Oh. Yeah, no.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. You were lagging hardcore for a bit.
Sweet. Oh yeah, because I just got back into the building. But
Gotcha.
what I was gonna say is, so I go until 6 o'clock, 3 days in a row. Then on Thursday I have class in the middle of the day, and then the only day I have entirely off is Friday. But right now, nobody wants to hire someone who can only work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right. Because they want you for like the whole week, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they want me to be available on at least like four days, and I'm like, oh yeah, totally. So here I am, jobless, figuring things out.
It's a big old mood.
Yeah, it very much is. But hey, at least I have a somewhat steady stream of cash right now, and as long as I've looked for a job every week, I should get paid.
Sure, that's fair. I mean, I hope you are able
Tiff
to
Tiffy
find something.
said that's
but
rough. I feel for you.
Tifa says that's rough. I feel for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you get it.
Yeah, like I mean, I hope you're able to get something worked out, sooner rather than later. But damn.
Well, that's the plan.
Ursa Major VT said, damn, we talking about how unemployment sucks.
Less how it sucks, Ursa, and more just that it's a thing that needs to be relied on at the moment. But I'm sure it's rough as it is. I only have like my experience with disability to go off of, but and that's rough for its own reasons.
Yeah, you get it.
That's my only basis for comparison.
You get it being on the fixed income.
Yep. I've been doing actually pretty okay the last little while, just because, I have a roommate, and so he's able to cover half the costs. But,
Ursa Major VT said it does, but
Yeah.
it does not treat those who use it well.
correct, it does not. It's not much different up here, unfortunately. I guess there's a reason people are trying to advocate for like a universal base income or whatever it's
Fixed
called.
income, yeah.
Like, That'd be kind of
Alright.
nice. Probably still rough in its own regard, but kind of nice.
Who dared?
Hi.
Hey, perfect timing. I actually need to go now.
Alrighty.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right, I am out. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
See you later, Holly. Y'all just straight up, y'all just fucking traded places.
That's crazy. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd still be okay. I for some reason I thought you were gonna be like a little bit longer. Not that I'm complaining, because I'm not.
Yeah, I don't live super far from school. So,
That's right. That's right.
Tiff Tiffy.
yeah.
Said musical Twitch streams.
Musical Twitch streams? Yeah. Well, yeah. You guys playing musical fucking chairs in my chat. In my VC, I guess. But like, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not super sure how things are gonna go for the next little bit. So I think this might be a relatively good time to actually call it. Cause like, I've been enjoying the vibe.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've been able to like talk and stuff. Maybe my next one will be more of like a planned thing, so people can actually like, I don't know, make it like we can like make it a Q&A type thing. Or something. I don't know. I don't know when the next one of these specifically is gonna be. Because like, I'm surprised I found enough things to talk about. But I mean, we can definitely talk more D&D another day. Because there's more to say. So much more to say. But I'm gonna go ahead and, for the sake of it, for anyone that is new, I'm gonna drop my Discord link into chat. I'm pretty sure everyone that's here is currently someone that is always here, but, you know, just in case.
Minivolve. Said Ultra Dolphin
Ooh.
64 rolled a d20 and got a 8.
Okay, so the 8, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not a fantastic roll, but not bad.
It's a roll. It's a roll.
Yeah.
Minivolve. Said Airsoft
No.
underscore
Oh,
Webby
no.
rolled a d20 and got a 1. Minivolve.
Oh!
Said critical fail. You've accidentally cast silence on yourself. It lasts 1 minute.
Oh,
Rip.
Wabbit, I'm so sorry. Right at the end too. Like, we are literally about to just end. Oh, I'm so sorry, Wabbit. Holy shit.
Just casting silence on your transmission.
Minivolve.
Yeah.
Said Tiff Tiffy rolled a d20 and got a 10.
Okay, 10. All right. I'm so sorry, Wabbit. Oof. I always, like, I have that there to be funny, but I always feel bad when it happens. Like, I'm too nice for shenanigans.
Said we
I
are
don't
not
know.
ending this with a 1.
You're not ending this with a one.
You know what? I respect that a lot, Tifa. I really do. All right.
If I come in.
So, Discord link's been thrown in chat. We are just chilling at this point.
Minivolve. Said Airsoft underscore Wabbeat rolled a
That's
d20 and got
better.
a 7.
Okay. There you go. All right.
From a 1 to a weird slanted 1.
A weird slant.
Let's go.
A nat 7. I love it. All right. I guess with all the rolls done, I guess we're just gonna end for tonight.
Minivolve.
Oh,
Said Ursa Mahorivit rolled a d20 and got a 9.
okay. There you go.
Ursa Major VT. Said fucked.
It's fine. It's fine. I would love for somebody to get a 20, but I'm not gonna bank on it. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it for tonight. So thank you everybody for hanging out. I really appreciate it. This was fun.
Yeah. This is pretty
So, you know, Wednesday we're gonna be back to Paper Mario. So that's gonna be a thing. I'm still debating on our next series. Still trying to figure that out. part of me is just like, fuck it, I'm doing Mother 3 because Mother 3 is so good. I just really want to play it. But I'm still gonna, I don't know, I'll take suggestions. I'd love to do more Pal World, but it doesn't like OBS.
Ursa Major VT.
So,
Said bye, you should do more just chatting streams.
yeah, I mean, every now and then. I don't think I have a ton to talk about usually. But, yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, have a good night, you guys. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for being here, Ultra. And Holly. As brief as it was, I appreciate both of you.
Thanks
I
for
appreciate
having me.
everybody. For sure.
Tiff Tiffby. Said have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, you too, Tifa. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.